That's our spiced apple and oat tray bake with that lovely butterscotch drizzle. Soft, moist. Look at that. In there you got the oats, you got the apple. Look at all that moist cake. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today we are doing a spiced apple and oat tray bake. And I'm probably going to do a butterscotch drizzle to go over the top. Sounds delish. It really is. You know, it's quite healthy with the oats and things. I've got a 9x7 tray. That's what I'll be using. That's my tray bake. You know, you can do it in an 8x8, not a problem. But we're going to use that. It's a straightforward recipe. It's a little bit of mixing, a little bit of apple dicing, and the spices are ginger and cinnamon. It's easy. Come on, in here I have all-purpose plain flour, baking powder, in there with our oats, in there a little bit of salt. We're going to chuck in some ginger, about half a teaspoon, somewhere around about there. And we want some cinnamon, a little bit of cinnamon, probably about a quarter of a teaspoon actually, just to give it that little bit of a flavour in there. And it's to bring it all in. Now we're not soaking the oats on this one. We've done many recipes where we've soaked the oats for a little 10 minutes in milk. We're not going to bother with this. We're going to rely on the butter and the eggs to actually moisten this, and the apple, because the apple's going to have juice in. We should get a nice oaty texture. That's what we're hoping. So that's nice and straightforward. Just bung that to one side. We've got a little bit of butter in here, look. We're going in there with our sugar, and we're going to give that a whiz up with the mixer. In fact, we'll just chuck a little bit of vanilla in there at the same time, and then we've got that in. You know, I'm a one for always forgetting that, you know, right to the last minute. We want to be going in there with our eggs. Now we're not trying to do any more than that actually. That's it. And what we'll do is we'll stir our dry into there in a second. I just want to crack on with the apple. As you can see, these apples are wrinkly as me. They're not the best. They're very, very soft. They're old. That's why we're doing this. We want to get rid of the apples. We don't want to waste them. No one's going to eat those. In fact, I had somebody turn their nose up the other day. You know, family turn their nose up and they say, oh, I'm not eating that. Well, in here, they'll eat it. Right, peel your apples like you normally would. Okay, if they're bruised, it doesn't matter. We want a couple of good apples if you've got them. I'm using these old ones, so I've got 4 apples here. I am anticipating that we throw some away. You never know, we might be lucky and get enough good apple. So I've got this wrinkly one here. Look at that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Perfect for this sort of recipe. Beautiful. Now they weren't exactly selected because they were the finest apples. They were selected because we wanted to use the apple. So let's not stress over it. I wonder if we can get a little bit more out of that. Yeah, we can. What about this side? Yeah, that's fine. Look at that. Some good apple there. Okay, we want some little cubed apples. That's all it's about. And you can cube it as big or small as you want. Some of it's going to disintegrate in there. Others are going to have little bits of apple in. So up to you how big you want to go, but I would recommend going a little bit small like this. We have quite a lot of apple there actually, probably more than we wanted. We probably only want about that much. We're going to put it all in. Right, there is our wet ingredients, there is our dry ingredients, and there is our apple. We are going to mix it all in. Make sure you've got your oven on 175, about 350. I think there could be too much apple. There you go. Not to worry. Just make sure you give it a little mix in. Look, as you can see, there's still bits of flour in here for me. So turn it all in. Take your suitable tray. I'm using this 9x7 like I say, and we are going to dump our mix in there. In we go. We're making bars, so get it down there. You know, I'm not very good with one of these, so let's get rid of that and use a spoon. They're a lot smaller and it's easier to work with inside here. Straight in the oven. It's going in for about 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, it smells absolutely superb. Look at that. Now what you can do, you can take a skewer and you can stick a skewer in, and if the skewer comes out clean like this is, it's done. There you go. Whoa, fabulous. Look at that. Stunning. Smells absolutely amazing. Look at those little bits of apple and things in there. So all we got to do is leave that in there. I mean, look at that. It's golden. You got the apple. I can see oats. Fabulous. Let it go cold completely in the tin, and then we'll put the butterscotch drizzle over the top. That is superb. Okay, a quick butterscotch drizzle. Small pan on, flame on not too high. In there with some brown sugar. In there with some melted butter. A nice little melting in there together. Now just watch it's not too hot. Don't forget we're making a drizzle, not a caramel or anything. So just get that nice and melted in there. Whilst that's melting, in with some salt. A little squirt of vanilla. What we're doing is just, if you can hear that, you probably can't hear. We've got grittiness, we've got that sugar, we're just melting the sugar. Now you want to be going in there with just about 2 tablespoons of cream, no more. Stir that in, and we want a nice silky smooth butterscotch. That will do. We've got a nice smooth silkiness going on there. We're not going to take it anymore. We don't want any more cream. This is a drizzle. There's our bars to be. Let's get that off there. You decide how big you want them. We're going to come through here, I think. And we're going to probably come through here. Now what we are going to do, I mean, look at this. That is moist. That is unbelievable. We're just going to split these like this actually. Because when we drizzle, we want the actually to drizzle over and down the sides. I can tell you now that this is so moist. Unbelievable. That's the apple and that in there, you know. Nothing neat and tidy about this one. Just drizzle it over. Just try and make sure you get it down the sides. Now you don't need too much of the drizzle on, you know, because this drizzle's sweet. That is perfect. So there you are. That's our spiced apple and oat tray bake with that lovely butterscotch drizzle. Oh, absolutely fabulous. Soft, moist. Look at that. Nice little bit of drizzle on there. It's setting up a little bit now, but I'm not waiting around for it to go cold. Oh, look at that. Lovely underneath. Moist. Oh, come on. We're in. Oh, look. In there you got the oats, you got the apple. Look at all that moist cake. Oh yeah. Oh man, that is a winner. Oh yeah. Oh, I can see custard, I can see cream, I can see ice cream. Oh, I can see me getting fatter. That is a beautiful, beautiful bar. That is definitely one to make. That is superb. So moist. Oh, you got the oats in there. You got all that apple. It is absolutely stunning. Nice butterscotch drizzle over the top. Not overly sweet. Nice buttery flavour. Just rounds it all off. It's absolutely superb. Oh yeah. Absolutely superb. If you like what we're doing, don't forget to share with your friends. Tell them how easy it is to make such a beautiful, moist, spiced apple bar. Don't forget the spices, the ginger and the cinnamon. And you can go more if you want. This is very pleasantly spiced, not overspiced. If you like what we're doing, big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell. Catch you in the next video. Sensational.